Hi folks, hi, back to having a go at another stream through the woods. They seem to be quite popular. I don't particularly like them, but I do them because they get quite a lot of comments and views. Right, tools of the trade for us Hake painters. There's the large Ron Ransom Hake, the medium Ron Ransom Hake, a rough old brush for texture. Well, it's not old, but it's I use this for texturing now. Does some great stuff. Very, very cheap. 15 brushes for £8. Almost just over 50p a brush, and they vary in size from a 1/2 inch to a 2 inch, and they're lovely for loose painting. The Frank Clark little Hake. I like this little brush. I don't really like the large one. I'm not really used to it. And I've got my Hakes anyway, and a rigger, and occasionally a plastic card. So I put those down. We'll wet the paper all over. This is a piece of Saunders Waterford cold pressed paper, super paper, but my next purchase of Saunders Waterford will be for the rough. Some paintings cry out for rough dry brush and stuff, but this is not actually smooth, but it's not rough either. It's in between, but a £90 weight. It's a superb paper. You know, it will grow because I've wet it. The paper water soaks right into it. Brilliant paper for an impressionist painting. Now it's got a bit of a warm background in. Now whatever you put on, it's going to dry a lot lighter than when you put it on. So a little bit of reflection, sky reflection coming through where the lake's going to be, well not lake, the flooded ground I like to call it. I don't think stream, well yeah stream, but stream formed by flooding. And you can see quite a bit of this occasionally over my local Beddington Park. Beddington Park has a, I think, 11th century church there. Our drama group I used to belong to puts plays on there. A lovely setting in a summer evening. And next to Carew Manor. And Carew Manor were the Carews of Beddington. Very old family. I think it's still about, but not there. It's now a school. But part of it is very, very old and part is Victorian. But one of the Carews of Beddington, the ladies, daughters, married Sir Walter Raleigh. Oh, he of the putting down of his cloak so that Queen Elizabeth I could avoid walking in a puddle. Probably myth, but anyway. But Beddington Park is the old hunting ground, the old deer hunting ground before the whole area got built on, all parkland. And very, very lovely park, and we do appreciate it. Okay, that'll do that for that. Now we're putting I won't put any cloud in. I'll put a bit of background colour. Let's have some alizarin and some ultramarine. Don't usually use much alizarin. I prefer the light red, but for this we want to give an impression of distance, so we use a cool colour in the distance. And just build it up. I'll dry it with the hairdryer in a minute. Hope you've had a good weekend, folks. We did. By a little family, we got together at my son's house nearby, and my daughter and partner. It was a great afternoon. Okay, now we've got a little bit more of this up in here. This will stand for the more distant trees at the end of the sort of tunnel. Okay, now while that's drying we can just reclip it. Now this is it's a very light, which is about as light a paper as you'd want to paint on without stretching. But you don't need to pre-stretch this paper or pre-shrink it, because it's just a glorious quality paper. But because it's a lightweight, it's much cheaper than £140, which is great. You know, you pay your money, you take your choice. But I just want to get some nice warm colour in the back of that. I like the cad yellow mixed with a bit of this and a bit of that. Just put in a bit of background colour. Some over here, but we don't want to repeat ourselves, but one side needs to be more dominant than the other, otherwise your eye will flit from one to the other. Alright, there's a bit dark in there, a bit of dark green. You can do this while it's all wet. Once it starts to dry, then leave it alone or dry it with a hairdryer. Look, just daubing in. Daubing is a watercolour term, for want of a better name. Now, good bit of dark green in there now. Right, okay. It doesn't lift out as easy as the £130 Fabriano. That's a great paper for lifting up, but it's not such a great paper for getting this diffuse effect. But you can, of course. It's what you get used to largely. We all have our favourite bits and pieces. Okay, well that's the start. I'll give that a dry now. Hairdryer, where are you? Come here. It's under my table. Oh dear, that's the lid to it now. Excuse me. I'm going to have to walk around the back to pick it up. It falls off. I have to move the easel because it's near falling off. The only problem I had with this box easel, it was very expensive when I bought it. You can get them much cheaper now. But what it was that I sit down to this, but ideally it's for standing up outdoors really. It's a portable studio. And you adjust the legs. But when you have it sort of as I've got it, without the back leg down, I have to put it on a brick to make it even. It's a bit of a flaw in the design, I think. But I've lived with it for about 25 years. Right, take your headphones off. Right, so that's the foundation of our painting. Clean the brush and we'll start again. So now it's dry. Well, if you carry on painting when the shine starts to go off of the surface, that is the critical time. That's where you've got to leave it alone or dry it with a hairdryer. Now it's quite, well, that's still a bit damp in there, but my tea was getting cold, so I had to stop. I'm going to put in some landscape now. Oh, I always forget to drink my tea. There's nothing worse than cold tea. Love hot tea, but cold tea. Ugh. It's my third mug this morning. Ah, right, it's a beautiful day in London. About half an hour. The temperature was about 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Work it out in centigrade. About 17, 18 degrees now, centigrade. We've had a lovely, lovely weekend weather. Managed to get out barbecuing on Saturday. I know you want to hear all this useless information. It's all everything to do with painting, isn't it? But I got some of those Teflon sheets for putting on your charcoal grill or on the gas grill and cooking your steaks and your sweet corn and your prawns and all sorts. I even did a chow mein. The vegetables with the stir fry stuff, instead of stir frying in a wok, which I normally do, I was just experimenting and it worked quite well. But they really get very, very hot, these sheets, a bit thin, but they're superb and they're washable. If they're Teflon, they're non-stick. It doesn't mean to say you don't have to clean them. Right, okay, so let's carrying on with the large hake. We'll just put a little bit of nice warm texture now because we're coming to the foreground, and so we'll just do some of this. A bit of green, Payne's grey, and cad yellow. Very good greens. So this is a sort of a flooded area, or stream, whatever you want it to be. Leave a little bit of sparkle, but not too much. I've got a photograph on my laptop, which is on showing the last one I did, but I'm not copying it. It's just there as something to look at. Right, let's get that coming across here. Bit of Payne's grey in with that. So we're just creating texture and tone. Very important. Unless, of course, you're doing sort of photographic art, which I can't do. That's why I'm very rough. So that there. I've got a bit of dark green in there. But I'll go over this with a texture brush. Alright, let's get a bit of dark green in here. So it's just background. Bit of bushy stuff. Bushy stuff, another technical term. I remember Alwyn Crawshaw, still around, but he used to do a lot of demonstration on the BBC. And probably his work has gone all over the place. But a marvellous teacher, and a great critic and oil painter, watercolour. He would say, if you're going to do a tree, don't say tree, just say, oh no, he'd say, I'm a tree. So you begin to paint like a tree. But on the other hand, if you start to name things, you have sort of psychological memories in your brain about like that Oh, stereotypes. Oh, we don't need to look at a tree. We know what a tree looks like. We don't need to do the nose. We know what a nose looks like. But of course, you're working from your memory, not from what is actually there. Although I'm not painting what is actually there. I'm just making this up. But based on previous work. Now we have it. Oh, that's nice and dark, isn't it? A bit of mystery. A bit more yellow in that. I'm going to put a bit of stronger blue in there, probably a bit of page of grey with the ultramarine. Oh, just for the right touch. I think my last one of my pals on YouTube thought it was a bit too dark. Well, it was, yeah, he's quite right, but people liked it. So that's why I'm doing it. Right, we'll go quite high with this one. A bit of green up there. I'll take the foliage right off the paper here. Got a bit of all centre in there. Catching a bit of light there. This just sort of reminds me of my local river Wandle, which I paint. Well, I don't actually paint it, I make up views based on the memory of the latest bike ride through. And sometimes you do get this sort of flooded area. Right, let's go a bit lighter with the greens on this. I want to create sort of a canopy up there. That's dried in now. Right, I'll leave that and go on to this bit here now. So all the time that's drying there, just reclip it. Just ready for a bit of grassy texture in there, bit of Payne's grey, bit of green. Got a lot of yellow in there now. I think what people find attractive in these sort of paintings is the stream, the light through the middle of it. Well, I love doing it. We can leave a bit of sparkle there because it is wet ground. Okay, so far so good. Let's put a bit of that dark green in here because otherwise it's too different from the side opposite. Got to squeeze out some more cad yellow later. Bit of shadow, because that back in there. Because that's the depth of the murky depth in the wood. So it's a bit of Payne's granite, a bit of burnt sienna. Get that nice dark contrast. Light against dark. Light tone and texture. Alright, don't want to build it up too much. Now then, let's get into a bit of this in here. So clean the paint a bit of paints, a bit of ultramarine. Take some of the moisture off the brush. Want blue, no? Black. Okay, that's a quite a good background colour. So, you know, it's dried a bit, a little dry brush. Very, very light touch with the brush. And I can put some bit of a few trunks and things in there, but very faint when that's dry. Right, I'm going to give it all to dry now. I'm going to just finish off the texturing in here with my little, what most people might call a rubbish brush. Finish my tea. Okay, I'm going to clean the palette now, paper. Right, hairdryer, come back. That'll do. Right, get the rigger and just some darker bits in the tree there, darker blue. And this is a bit darker than the background. The rigger doesn't sort of hold a lot of water these days. There's a little bit of that colour in there. Right, a bit more up here. Just that impression of stuff in the back. Okay, now we're going to go back with a nice large hake. We're going to create a grey. So let's have a bit of burnt umber. maybe a bit of ultramarine. Also, this makes a good cloud colour. So I don't use much of the burnt umber, that's why it goes a bit cakey. Same as the alizarin. Okay, now let's get in with just sort of random, some coming out of the picture. Get a very sort of impressionist mark with the hake when you do it like this. You never quite know how it's going to work out, but we can always cover your faults with bits of foliage. So a bit of dark here. Not a reflection, the shadow. The shadow would be somewhere else. I'll use the rig on some of this. A greeny colour would be better. I'll use the rigger for some. I'm going to come up and do another one. One up here, subordinate, bit of shadow there. Now if you do too much, you just make it too dark, and we don't want that. Now I might use a sponge, I might not. Sponge is a great way to go. I like using sponges, but sometimes you don't know what the shape is. Always. Oh, let's get one coming down here. That was supposed to be coming from this tree here. Right, now we'll just do another one, a couple up here in the sort of avenue. Just create an impression of stuff going on. Now I've come across the other side. Oops, trying to pull my wire over. Okay, there's a more green in that. And one coming up here. There's no shortcuts to this. You know, you can watch and watch and watch, and unless you put the practice in, you won't make any great progress. You've got to do a lot of it. Oh, there'll always be people better than you and me. Well, it's full of better people with great ability, but we can do what we can do. Just some trees just up here, sort of random. Light's going that way, so let's get that right in there. trying to get these little shadows going across here. Right. Some in the back there. I think I'm just going to use the Hake to put in the canopy. Right, okay, we want some light green. So the way you do this is get a bit of clean cloth, smash your Hake up. Oh, well, you do need a bit of water on your palette for this. So let's just dab some on. Now we clean the brush, dry the brush-ish, smash it up. Oh, get loads of prickles. And go there, get the yellow. Then all your mistakes you can cover up. I'll put the light that side because I'll put the shadows going. Change the shape of your brush. Good dabbing. Right, a bit of Payne's grey. So a good strong stiff yellow. Just a bit of shadow leaves, darker leaves on that side. A bit too wet. So my light is one side. If you put the light there and there, as if it's coming through the middle, you'll have your reflections going probably both that way, but I've decided to do it this way. Right, get some nice strong yellow. Just bung some of that in there. Really good, neat. It probably won't show, but oh, I'm putting the raw sienna there. Okay, well there we are. I'll give it a signature. Oh, I'm going to do some texture in that grass. Right. Let's clean the brush. Get my little one here, and we'll get some nice dark green. Oh, there's a bit of sienna as well. Look at that. Just a little bit of texture in here and there. There we go. Put it in a mount and we'll have a look. No birds. Whoops, oh that's the wrong bit. That's another memory card there. I've got to tape. Get the old mount, put it on. Well, there we are. Let's just take let's zoom out. Right. to take up. There we are. So we've got another impressionist scene. I think probably we could do with a little bit of gouache in there, just to put some light catching. So we go with green and white. Let's go on the light side of that trunk, those trunks there. Just open it up a little bit. Not really cheating. A bit of gouache goes a long way. It'll dry in anyway, so let's just get some up here. Use it, clean the palette off after this. Just catching a bit of light. Okay, that'll do, I'll sign it, then I'll get this uploaded. There you go. Oh, I hope you like that, folks. I'll go downstairs and do the uploading. Bye for now.